Well, good morning. The weather forecasters claim we got no rain forecast in the area today, so an ideal time to start planting out some onions. First of all, need to clear the debris off the top, remove the covers and give it a little tittling. For the time being, I've just uncovered 2 beds because I'm not really sure how much planting I'm actually going to get done today. As you can see, covering the beds really does pay dividends. It's quite clean, although the soil is damp. 1 or 2 weeds to get out just around the edges, but apart from that, it's ready to go. What I will do, as I've done with all the other beds so far, is give it a soaking with the super soil. I've just run the Wolf soil miller over the top just to break the crust up on the top because it had settled over the winter, and all it's done is broke up the first couple of inches and all, and that's enough for the roots of the onion plants to get down and get going. Right, let's go out, fetch up the stock and see what we've got. I'm going to begin by planting out the calces first. Now potentially these are the biggest onions that I'm growing, the tallest as well. And I'll be starting these off with the back of the bed and moving forward. That then, if there's any space at the front, it gives me room to put in the smaller tough ball types and stops any shadows being cast by the sun, which comes this way. Just put my marking board out just to set out the first row. And for the calces, I'll be doing 8 in a row. And for the other 2 varieties, the tough ball and the vento, there'll be 12 in the row. Right, ready to start planting out. Now before I actually plant the onions, like the tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, I like to give the root ball a good dusting with mycorrhizal fungi. Just pop them in the hole. Put a saw round, put them in more or less the same depth as they are in the pot, and that's all there is to it. If you want to have a look at a more detailed view of the way I grow onions from seed right the way to harvest, have a look at this video popping up in the corner. As I'm planting these calci onions out, it suddenly occurred to me, although they look a decent onion, as you probably know, I haven't used any grow lights at all with these, and absolutely minimum bottom heat just to get the seeds going. But while planting out, I've noticed once you remove the pot, there's very little root structure on it. I would like to see a lot more than that. However, I'm still going to be planting out with a mycorrhizal, and we'll see how it goes. Right, calling it today for today, I'll just bring you up to speed. That cover on the top is just a temporary lash up to give a bit of protection for tonight. And there is an actual fine black mesh hanging down the front, although it might not show up on the camera. Anyway, looking at what we've been doing, the ones on the right there, the calci, we've got 5 rows of 8 in there, total of 40. And the other side of that whiteboard, you've got 4 rows of 12, 48 in total. And I think those are the tough ball. I'm keeping that whiteboard in, and I'll probably put one on this side as well. There's a walkway and it does help with weeding. They do look a bit bedraggled at the moment, as you can see, because I've just given them a watering as well, plus there's a shock of transplanting. Anyway, I'll just see if they'll pick up in the morning, hopefully they will, and then we can carry on and plant out the remainder in this bed. Well, good morning and welcome back to what's looking like another glorious day in store. I've taken the covers off, and the onions I can see have started to pick up. I think that'll probably take around about 2 or 3 more days, but we're in no rush anyway. In the meantime, I've got another 3 trays of onions to go out, 45, so that'll be another 4 rows to start off with, and those are the vento. And then behind there, I've got some of the banana shallots. There's 3 different varieties of those. So let's get cracking. Right, I've got 3 rows in a vento. Rather than have bits and dabs of odd things, I thought I'd start putting the banana shallots out now. And these are called a lister, and probably do 2 rows of 12 of them. Well, welcome back. We had such a good day yesterday that I forgot to do a little update at the end of the day. So let's go over to the onions. So this is how yesterday ended. Along the front there we've got 3 rows of vento, and moving back we've got 2 rows of elixir, and then we've got the weeding board. So they've got one in there as well, and in front of that we've got 1 row of long red Florence, and right at the very front 1 row of Zabroon. So that's 7 rows, 84 in total, and we've still got this amount of space left on here and also along here. I've still got my traditional leeks to put out, and you may remember a few videos ago another plot holder kindly donated some pot leeks. Well, I'll probably go in here, and then in there, as you can see, we've got the shallots. Some of them need thinning out now, but once them are out I'll be adding a second lot of leeks, which I should be sowing in the next couple of weeks. So that's more or less this bed complete now. All I need to do is put the framework up and then get the protective netting on. But before I do that, I want to move over to the asparagus bed. I've already started work on that, just tittling the top. I'm going to put up a little wigwam structure ready for the sweet peas. That soil auger is a really ideal tool for doing jobs like that. I initially bought that just for producing the hulls for the parsnips. Anyway, as you can see in there, I've made light work of it. Fairly equally spaced, so it's just a matter now of dropping the poles in and firm the soil around them, and away we go. I think we're ready to go. I was having to sort around in the shed and I found this old plastic bean net. Rather than just throw it away because I don't use them anymore, I thought I'd get 1 more year's use out of it before I dump it. If there's a crime against cruelty to sweet peas, I guess I'm guilty as charged. As you can see, these are more than ready to go out. I did pinch the tops out, but they've continued to grow and bush out really nicely. So, now time like the present, let's get them planted. I seem to recall I had full germination when I sowed the peas, so that's 32 plants I've got here. Although there's only 8 poles in the structure, I'm going to interplant. That'll be 16 gone. I'm going to put some in the back garden because I've got a little obelisk in there, and I'll probably get rid of another 8 or 10. The few remaining, I may pop a few little canes up around the allotment and add a bit more extra colour. These are the Westland Grocer root trainers. As you can see, fine job on there. In fact, they've intertwined. I might need to cut them apart. That's their sweet peas all in now. I've given them a good watering in. This ground's quite fertile, so hopefully they should rump away. Right, now I'm just going to move over and sort the frame out for the onion bed. That's the onion framework complete now. All we need to do is pop the net on and secure it. I'll of course be removing this temporary net over the shallots and also the black floor covering the plastic. In fact, the empty ground at the moment, to free up some space in the greenhouse, I might be moving the trays of the leeks and the pot leeks and store them in there to give us a bit of room in the greenhouse. Before I go, I just want to quickly explain the way the framework's constructed, because I've had a few people ask questions in the past. The main structure is the 4 legs down each side, these things, and they're actually called line pins or lamp pins. I'm quite fortunate there's a company nearby that manufactures them, and they're reasonably cheap. Running along the edges as the main rail here, this is electrical conduit, and I've just chopped that off to the length of the bed. It's just under 3 metres, that is. And for the cross rails, these are upturned rain gutters, and all I've done is popped a hole in there, tipped it upside down. It hooks over the both ends of the stakes, and it actually does quite a good job of bracing the structure. And just in the middle of there, I've popped some more line pins, as you might see, and just put some normal garden canes through, and that just gives the net a little bit of support in the centre. So that's the framework. So there we have it, done. I've actually put the net a little bit lower than usual, and we've got more net overhanging the sides, which is not a problem at all. In fact, what I've done, I've got this pole, put a marker on, and what I put that on the wooden boards and knock the poles down, the spikes, until I'm level with that, and it gets all the same height, and it makes putting the net on so much easier. As you can see in this video, I've done quite a lot of work, and there's still plenty more to go. May is a very busy month for me. Still got to sow the parsnips, plant the runner beans, set up the auto watering system, and quite a lot. So you'll probably see at least some of that in the next episode. So many thanks for watching. I'm Nigel Dukes, and you've been watching the MuddyBootz Allotment channel.